So welcome to TisTalk.
Welcome to TisTalk. This is a podcast coming from Tisbury, Wiltshire and surrounding villages. I'm Julianne Murphy.
And I'm Mary Myers.
This is the week beginning the 7th of July.
Well, hello Julianne.
Hello Mary.
It's raining.
It's a raining Saturday. What a
I can't
shame.
believe it.
I know. Well, I mean, no, it's kind of great because our gardens need it, obviously. Yes. But Semley Music Festival's on, Sacred Heart Fete is on.
Yeah. The swimming pool isn't open, so maybe that's good. But up to now, it's been bad.
Yeah, we've needed the swimming pool open.
Yes.
And the good weather is going to come back, I think. And I think July's going to be all right. But it's just a shame, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Weather does the wrong thing on the wrong day.
Yeah.
Very annoying.
It's a truism.
Except for if you were a courgette plant, in which case you're really liking this.
Do courgettes like the rain?
I don't know. Aren't courgettes mostly made up of water?
Yeah. I believe so. But, all right, okay.
Anyway, on with the show.
On with the show. And what have we got on today, Mary?
Oh, yes. Today we're doing a special about Seeds4Success because we met this lovely boy at the fete, at Tisbury fete, where the sun shone and it was actually perfect weather, I have to say.
It was wonderful.
Yeah. So Seeds4Success is a youth charity which is supported by another person we're going to talk to today called Selina Elwell, who has a beautiful house in Semley and puts on a yearly thing called Semley Summer Music. And this year it's going to be an opera with local family, the Connollys, Ambrose and Juno. And she's raising money for Seeds4Success.
Okay.
So we're doing a whole little package about Seeds4Success.
Good.
And then we're going to have Dr. Lindsay Kinlin from Fovant Surgery about another common condition that she comes across a lot called an underactive thyroid.
Yes.
Yeah, so she explains all about the thyroid and it's very interesting actually. I learnt a lot. And then we end with the what's ons.
Okay.
Good. First, I met a young boy called Thomas at Tisbury's fete, and now here he is telling us all about the local charity Seeds4Success and how it's helping young people in our community grow skills, confidence and friendships. Hello Thomas, we're here at Tisbury fete. Thanks for coming over to TisTalk stall and asking to be interviewed. That's very nice. So you are part of Seeds4Success?
Yes, so today we are doing leisure credits. Basically we go out and do hard work for the community and basically Jackie gets paid a little bit of money from it and that goes into a pot and we get to do fun trips like ice skating and go-karting and theme parks.
What is Seeds4Success, Thomas?
It is a youth work programme based in southwest Wiltshire. We are mainly based in Mere, so that is where our main youth centre is.
Yeah.
And that's where we meet to do leisure credits, and that is basically the hub of where we do.
Right.
We also have a smaller youth centre in Wilton that we go to, some people go to on a Tuesday. Right. We also have a little area at Zeal's football pitch.
Okay.
We have a little area there that's like a community garden. We work there sometimes.
And do you live in Tisbury?
I live in Mere.
In Mere, right, okay. And but sometimes you meet in Tisbury, do you?
Yeah, occasionally. We on a Monday we do health and wellbeing at the Nadder Centre.
Oh, okay.
So that's like we go and do some arts and crafts or play some sports and stuff like that.
Okay. So health and wellbeing includes arts and crafts?
Yeah, that is very good at helping with mental health and
okay.
challenges in that area.
Right. And can I ask how old you are?
I am 13.
And which school do you go to?
I go to Gillingham Secondary School.
Ah, right. That's where my sons went. Do you enjoy it?
I do, yes.
Yeah. But what attracts you to the Seeds4Success?
The variety of opportunities that we that we have. I personally am part of, so we do open access sessions with, so like Friday nights we meet at Mere Youth Centre, have a little chat with your friends, do some cooking, that's what I do. We also have Wilton, which I said about, health and wellbeing, which I said about, and workshop, which we go over to our area at Zeals and make the stuff that we have on sale today.
Oh, okay. Shall we go over there and you can just show me? So we're just coming round the front of the Seeds4Success stand here, and you're going to show me some of the stuff that you make and this is for sale, is it?
Yes, this is all for sale. This is a bird box that you can hang in your house or near your house.
Yeah.
And basically they nest in there. It's not very different to normal bird boxes, but it's made with love and care. This is a bigger one.
It's unusual because it's got a plastic cover to the roof. That keeps the rain off, I suppose.
Yeah, this is a bird feeder. You put seed in there, and then you hang
nicely
it.
Made in wood and painted.
These are bird feeders. They're coconut shells with lard in them.
Great.
And these are planters. You can put soil in them and grow your plants in the garden, on your windowsill. They're so small they can go anywhere.
Nice little small window box.
And
you've got cards here.
We have a hedgehog house.
Hedgehog house.
Oh,
I see. Yes, that's great.
And there's a compartment in there for them to get into,
so
they can nest. And instead of tearing up your garden or risking getting killed by foxes, we make that to save them. And these are little
funny little key
rings
with goggly eyes.
We make these whenever we feel like it, and we just sell them because they're a little novelty thing that people will buy. It goes to all of the different things we do.
Yeah, great. Yeah. And which one of these did you make?
I personally aren't involved in any of these, but I know Andrew over here is involved.
Hi Andrew.
Hi.
Which one of these did you make?
Well, I've helped make bits and pieces of the hedgehog house and of some of these bird boxes.
All right. Okay. Good. Which group do you go to? The Zeals group or?
I go to project nights on Thursday. I do leisure credits, and I do health and wellbeing on Monday.
Right. Yeah. So you do health and wellbeing together.
Yeah.
Can you just explain a bit of what leisure credits are again?
So, we literally just go out. Like today, some of these people were here. Some of these people were clearing a footpath in Tisbury.
Oh yes.
So we do that, and then Tisbury Council give us a little bit of funding for doing it, and then we get that money goes towards our reward trips.
I see. Okay, great. All right, fine. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you for featuring us.
You're listening to TisTalk from Tisbury in Wiltshire and the Nadder Valley.
And linking with Seeds4Success, now Selina Elwell invites us into her magical garden at Semley Grange, where she's hosting an enchanting opera this August to raise funds for Seeds4Success, starring local talents Ambrose and Juno Connolly.
I'm in Semley with Selina Elwell in her beautiful home, and we're here to talk about Semley's summer music. So how did it all begin, Selina?
Well, it began because it occurred to me that a lot of the sort of places that we know about where people do opera or music in their gardens has become more or less inaccessible to many people.
Inaccessible?
From the point of view of price,
yeah,
and above all from the point of view of logistics. And I was already friends with the Connolly family.
Right, in Warder.
In Warder, yeah, just down the road from Tisbury. And it occurred to me that we were so fortunate to have this wonderful team on our doorsteps that if we could bring the team to our garden, which we work quite hard at making lovely, and make really, really good professional music available on a local basis, quite a lot of people for whom it's impossible to go to Sussex or Surrey would be able to enjoy a nice evening with us. Well, it began just before COVID. We were very much helped and supported by Cherubim.
Right, yes.
Michael Maxwell Steer, who was a great mentor in the early days. And then we worked also with Jackie, Seeds4Success.
Right, the charity.
The charity, to provide some activity and some payment and some support for her young teams who have enjoyed very much coming here and helping with various aspects of organisation. And that's been great joy.
Right.
So Juno, in particular, wrote a special adapted version of the Magic Flute. The entire Connolly family participated, with Ambrose singing the main role with Juno, which was great, Papageno, and with Tony as the monster.
Their dad.
Their dad as the
Really?
monster, and their brother providing special effects. And that was a huge success. And then we've always wanted to do Ergen Onegin. Juno Connolly and Ambrose Connolly are very good at Russian repertoire.
Right.
Ambrose studied in, I'm not sure if it was in Russia or in Ukraine. But,
I think it was Russia, actually.
I think it was Russia.
Yes.
So, and Juno also had a Russian singing teacher, so they're both very good at Russian. And then we're very lucky to have Michael Bell and Christopher Burrows, who's perhaps more amateur, but a very good bass, join us. And we've assembled this fantastic cast to do Ergen Onegin in Russian. This time, Ambrose has written a specially adapted version.
Yes.
We can't afford an orchestra as well, but we have a
Right.
very, very good accompanist. And we think that it lends itself quite well to doing a production, a simple production, in a tent. And we're selling lots and lots of tickets, which is nice.
Right.
We
Okay.
think at £40, which includes refreshments in the interval, it's still quite good value.
Right.
And people who might be at all challenged from the point of view of mobility can basically drive up almost to their seats. So ticks lots of boxes.
So just tell us a little bit more about Seeds4Success and how they get involved in each of your productions.
Well, Seeds4Success, as I think some people know, really concentrates on helping young people who are already facing challenges for whatever reason get over those sort of tough years, which could cause them to end up in serious trouble. And a lot of this is about organising activities for them. It's a small charity. It's very, very local. Their needs are relatively simple, but there comes a time when they need things like a new gearbox for their minibus to get them from places. We're very lucky to have this wonderful Jackie who keeps an eye on these children, and I call them children, but they're sort of young adults really.
Yes.
And they come here and they do the parking. They help with the refreshments. They generally are sort of part of the team.
Yeah.
And I think being part of a team and seeing what's possible, even if you're doing relatively humble tasks like helping somebody park or helping somebody manage to get through a door when they're on a wheelchair is possibly good for all of us.
Right.
And they're delightful to have around, and apparently they like coming here, so that's good for me. And it's part of the I think the attraction of coming here, which is that part of your ticket price, it slightly depends on how many tickets we sell, goes to Seeds4Success. We give a minimum donation of at least £1,000 to £2,000, which is for them quite a lot of money and helps them to do something which otherwise they wouldn't be able to do, like replace the gearbox in their minivans.
Yes, great.
So a portion of the ticket price is guaranteed to go to Seeds4Success. And to put an opera on, or even musicians, and have them come here is a real joy. And it is quite a lot of work and sometimes financial commitment, obviously, too, because I basically underwrite the whole thing. And I'm not tremendously rich, but it's worth the pleasure for me. I get a lot of fun out of it.
Thank you very much. So that's the opera Eugene Onegin on the 22nd and 23rd of August at 7 p.m. at Semley Grange in Semley Village. The tickets are £40 each, and it stars Ambrose Connolly and Juno Connolly, from Warder. Go to www.semleysummermusic.com. That's www.semleysummermusic.com for an evening of what sounds like lovely music and a chance to support Seeds for Success.
Follow us on Instagram at TisTalk Radio.
Next, we're very happy to welcome back Dr. Kinlin from Fovant Surgery. Today, she's explaining what an underactive thyroid is, how to spot the signs, and the simple treatments that can help you feel your best. So, I'm very happy to be back at Fovant Surgery with Dr. Lindsay Kinlin. Yeah. And thanks very much for coming back on TisTalk. We're going to talk about the thyroid today.
Yeah.
So let's jump straight in. And the first question is, where is it?
So the thyroid gland is on the front of your neck, and it's a butterfly-shaped gland that sits over the top of the voice box. So if you put your fingers gently over your throat and start talking, you're actually at that moment touching the thyroid gland. So it comes from the Greek word therios, which means shield. So that corresponds to the shape of it.
Okay, so what does it do?
So it's a really important part of the body because the thyroid gland makes a hormone called thyroxine, and the thyroxine is used by every cell in the body to control metabolism. So because of that, problems with the thyroid gland are felt throughout the entire body, sometimes with quite non-specific symptoms, and the thyroxine that the gland makes, the level is very finely controlled normally, and the disorders of the thyroid gland are usually because of that production going out of kilter.
I know that newborns have this little prick when they're born.
Yeah, so because it's such a fundamental function of the body, it's one of the tests that are done when babies are about a week old, where a little blood sample is taken from their heel, and we're checking at that point to make sure that they're making thyroxine, because the thyroxine is really important for brain development. And so if you can pick up a baby that's not making thyroxine properly from birth, you can replace it from the minute it's needed and ensure that they don't have any problems with their brain development in the future.
Right. So what kind of problems arise with the thyroid then, Lindsay?
So it's primarily the way in which it's producing this thyroxine. So it's either too much, which is hyperthyroidism, or not enough, which is hypothyroidism.
Okay, so let's talk about underactive first, not enough.
Yeah, so that's the commoner of the two types. So hypothyroidism is approximately 5% of the population have an underactive thyroid. But for the vast majority of those people, it's picked up before they ever develop any active symptoms of it. For example, we might pick up a very early hypothyroidism if someone comes to the surgery saying they're tired. It's one of the very standard blood tests that we would do at that point, looking for an underactive one. And the way we would start thinking about an underactive thyroid would be being tired. Sometimes people have other symptoms like feeling really cold. They might get constipated. They might find that their thinking process has become a bit sluggish or foggy. They might just have
problems with their weight.
Yeah, weight gain's really common. Again, just because the whole of the metabolism slows down. You might find changes to the texture of the skin or hair.
Really?
Yeah, so often gets quite dry.
I see. Right.
Yeah, there's this really unusual thing where the outer third of the eyebrow disappears. So usually the eyebrow thing isn't, it doesn't get to the point where that would happen, but it's one of the markers from history of how to recognise someone who might have an underactive thyroid.
Right, I see.
Yeah.
And I've heard about goiters. What's that?
Yeah, so goiter is just an old-fashioned term for an enlarged thyroid. So you might see it as just a swelling in the front of the neck. Commonly it's symmetrical, but sometimes people have a thyroid lump. A diffuse goiter is when it's the whole of the gland, and that's usually because of a lack of iodine in the diet. So you might see that in certain parts of the world where people haven't got access to iodine-rich food.
Right, or iodine in their salt. Isn't that a big thing?
So the intervention we do in modern times is to put iodine into the salt deliberately. But in the olden days, that wasn't an option. So you'd find communities, for example, in Britain, the classic community where this used to happen was in Derbyshire. So it's actually called Derbyshire neck in the UK when people get a goiter from not having enough iodine in their diet.
I see. And can that be treated?
Yeah, you just have iodine.
Right,
So
and
it's
the
really simple.
swelling goes down?
Yeah.
Right, I see. Okay.
When the body's own immune system attacks the thyroid gland, and as a result it affects the function of the gland, it can't make the thyroxine as normal, and so you develop the hypothyroidism. So it's associated with other autoimmune conditions. So if someone had Hashimoto's or an underactive thyroid, which we assume is Hashimoto's, you would also perhaps be on the lookout for other autoimmune conditions, things like vitiligo, celiac disease.
Right, but these all sound quite uncommon.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, but
yeah.
It's just you would have your radar up.
Yes.
If someone had, certainly if someone presents with type 1 diabetes, one of the tests we do at diagnosis is a thyroid function check.
Right.
Just to make sure that the autoimmune activity isn't attacking the thyroid as well as the pancreas.
Yeah. Now, but I understand that having an underactive thyroid is actually quite common.
Very, yeah.
Yeah, and it's more common in women?
Yep, so of
So
the
why is
people
that?
it's probably just the way women are made with their immune system. If you're looking at why is it that women tend to have more autoimmune conditions, my understanding is it's because of the need to incubate a baby who might have a different immune fingerprint to what we do. So in general, women tend to have more autoimmune conditions.
So how can an underactive thyroid be picked up, Lindsay?
So it's actually quite simple. So we would have a low threshold for testing because the symptoms are so non-specific and it's a common condition.
A low threshold for testing, meaning you would test very quickly?
Yeah. So it's an easy test to do. It's a blood test.
Right.
And the substance you're looking for is actually two things. You're looking for how much thyroxine is being made by the gland and seeing if that's normal. And the second thing you're looking at is how does the body encourage the thyroid gland to make the thyroxine. So there's another gland in the brain called the pituitary gland that makes a hormone called thyroid stimulating hormone, or TSH.
Mm-hmm.
We look at the TSH level because that gives us an idea of how hard is the thyroid having to be encouraged to make the thyroxine.
Right.
So if you imagine a gland that's starting to become more fatigued and less efficient, it will still make the thyroxine, but it needs a bigger stimulation to do it.
Right.
So the TSH is stimulating the thyroid gland to make the thyroxine, and that will go up first, even if the thyroxine level at that time might be normal.
Right.
So it gives us an early warning of someone who might become hypothyroid in the future, so we can check them regularly.
And then how's it treated?
Again, it's dead easy. We just give a thyroxine tablet. So
Right.
Yep. So it takes a little while sometimes to get the right dose. So if someone has blood tests which confirm hypothyroidism, we would start a low dose thyroxine, or sometimes called levothyroxine. Leave it 8 weeks, check the blood again and see if that's at the correct level to stabilise both the TSH and the T3, which is how we look for the actual thyroxine in the bloodstream.
Right. Oh, that's great. Thanks a lot. Dr. Kinlin runs regular sessions in Fovant and Dinton, which are relaxed and interactive talks where all are welcome to attend and ask questions. In July, the subject is the defibrillator and emergencies. So that's Dinton Village Hall on Thursday the 10th of July at 4 p.m. and at Fovant Village Hall on Thursday 24th of July, also at 4 p.m. All welcome.
TisTalk, a podcast from Tisbury on tistalk.buzzsprout.com.
And we end with What's Ons with Lau Pointer.
On Wednesday the 9th of July, the Tisbury History Society archives are open in the Mere Room in the Nadder Centre from 10 a.m. until 1 p.m. On Thursday the 10th, the Hindon and Fonthill WI will meet in the Hindon Village Hall at 7:30. On Saturday the 12th, the Tisbury Footpath Club summer outing leaves from the Nadder Centre car park at 8:50 a.m, heading for a variety of walks in Winchester. At 11 a.m, a symposium on sculpture titled Static Objects in a Changing World will take place at Messham's. Tickets are £35, but children and students go free. Go to messams.org to book a place. In the evening, starting at 7:30 p.m, there is Concert for Ukraine taking place in St John's Church. On Sunday the 13th, the Natural History Society outing leaves Nadder Centre car park at 10:30 a.m, heading for Vernditch. At 6 p.m, there is a flute concert with Lily Owens and Emma Watkins in St John's Church in Tisbury. Go to www.cherubintrust.org/events for tickets. And at 6:30 for 7 p.m, the Magic Lantern Film Club is showing Poor Things in the Victoria Hall. The running time is 142 minutes. Members are free and non-members £8. And that's all for this week.
And to play us out, here's a little bit of music from a summer's afternoon concert that took place at St John's Church, Tisbury, on Sunday the 8th of June. This was given by the Norton Wind Ensemble, a group which combines professionally trained and experienced amateur musicians who come together to play the great music of the wind repertoire. This is part of Beethoven's Septet, Opus 20, recorded by Anne Martin.